Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all that good stuff. My name is Kevlar. I run Team Kevlar Fitness. I am a fitness and health professional. So my focus is more of mental, dietary, and physical fitness. Also do things like martial arts, fighting, consultations, self-defense, workshop seminars, the works. Today, I'm going to introduce to you someone who I call a gentle badass. He's the kind of person you see on the street, you'd be like, yeah, take him. But he would mess you up proper, yeah? Forget about that. Nice man, good friend, gentle soul, but dangerous, the way men should be today, unfortunately. When it was not like that. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Kieran Peart.
Thank you very much. So my name's Kieran Peart and I am a Muay Thai fighter, a trainer and a coach that specializes in martial arts for children. I say specialize in martial arts for children because they're the main focus, the main people that I work with, but not just for Muay Thai or martial arts, but their mental well-being as well. You know, how they interact with other children, how they interact with their parents, finding their true character, their true person. And I help a lot of people focus on their diets, like you was mentioning earlier, because I believe that, you know, we all kind of think about personal training and gym and weights or martial arts, whatever it may be, but we forget about what we put in our body is potentially going to come out with whatever form we use. So let me give you an example. If I'm going to go and do martial arts and whatever I put in my body, whether I'm smoking, drinking, eating bad, that's going to affect my performance when it comes to training. Yeah. So for a lot of my clients, I try to focus on your food, the intake of food, the intake of water, your sleep, your rest. Like these things are, I feel like they're overlooked. I feel like they're overlooked. But yes, sorry, that's what I focus on.
I got a question for you, bud.
Yes.
Is that, so for your clients, the people that you're actually teaching, what do they find hardest? Is it the physical, the mental, or dietary? Because I know, like you said about the food, is it hard for the people you're training to keep a good, clean diet?
I think it's not just one. I think it's all a combination of all three. But I think the main thing is being disciplined and being consistent. There are two things that people in general find hard to do. It doesn't matter what it is. It may be a diet, which I hate using that word, but we're going to use it right now. It may be a diet, trying to change your lifestyle. If I say to someone, okay, I want you to try and implement, let's say 3 liters of water a day. There's going to come a point in that week, then, oh, Kieran, no, I couldn't do it on that day because I had work or we had a party and then there was cake and then there was alcohol, there was this and that. There's always an excuse. It's not a matter of just having the excuse. You could have been disciplined enough to be like, okay, there's alcohol there. I may have a glass of whatever it may be, gin and tonic, but I'm still going to make sure I consume my liter of water before I've even drank the alcohol or my liter of water afterwards. So by the end of that day, I've had my 3 liters.
That's interesting. So basically that's mental and that's dietary. Because when you say that, I have a similar issue with many people I deal with as well, which is the mental, when the mental is not there, the physical gets harder and dietary gets harder. Because for this year itself, I've done a lot more consultations than actual physical training. I've done more of one-on-one sit-down talks than actual physical training. And most times it's that I try not to give people an opinion of what to do. I try to suggest something for them to do, but most of the times it's actually about them finding the answer for themselves of what they need to do for themselves, because that's the empowering part. Especially today, a lot of people out there have lost their discipline. They have that discipline thing, which is, it goes. So when I talk like you do, I say a thing which is consistency over intensity. Some people go hard for the first 14 days. Like, yeah, I want to make a change. They go hard. But when they go hard, they look at diet like just the food. When I use the word diet, I'm talking about cleansing your environment, checking the toxicity levels of everything, which is how much TV do you watch? What do you watch? Is it positive? Is it negative? How much time do you spend on the internet? When you are there, what do you watch? What do you do? I use the internet like shopping.
Yeah.
If I want to go shopping, I make a list. I write things down and I go shopping. I know what I'm going in for. If I go in shopping without a list, I'm going to browse all day. I'm going to go, oh, look, this video. Oh, look, this video, all this. So we spend too much time outside and all that.
I like that.
So the mental is not set because the biggest thing of all we do is we have choice. Many people don't know that we have choice, which is you can choose to go on Facebook. No one's forcing you. You can choose to not go on Facebook. You can choose to go on this platform. You can choose not to. If you are in a group and someone makes a silly comment, you can choose not to respond. You see what it is? But we respond and we get into this whole toxic behavior of just negativity, and it repeats. And that negative vibe in the brain affects the stomach as well. Affects the mood, affects what you eat, affects what time you sleep, affects your pattern.
Yeah.
Now, rumor has it that you are a vegan.
I have a whole food, plant-based diet. Now, the reason I say that is because a lot of people, when I first even went plant-based, which was in 2016, I believe, and when I first went plant-based, it was like, yeah, I'm vegan. Then when I started to understand what being a vegan is, it was the whole idea of abstaining from any animal product whatsoever.
Right.
And a lot of people you'd hear, even the other day, one of my friends, yeah, I'm going vegan. I'm like, you're not going vegan. You're going to try and have a plant-based diet.
Thank you.
Yeah, which is a better way to say it, because one, you're not, being vegan means I have to change my whole way of living.
Right.
I can't use these boxing gloves if they're made from leather. Why? Because leather comes from a cow.
Sorry.
Now, I'm not saying yours are made from leather.
Team Kevlar boxing gloves are not made from leather. Talking about.
There you go. But I'm just saying, as an example, any boxing glove, yeah, as a martial artist, I couldn't go into a gym, pick up these gloves if I'm so-called vegan. Doesn't mean you can't, but if you're going to use that word, it's that same if I'm a Christian, then I have to follow the way of a Christian. Anything, doesn't matter what it may be.
Right.
So I don't use the term vegan, but I use the term plant-based. So I have a whole food, plant-based diet. And that's been, like I said, for 4 years.
Now, with your diet, again, diet is your surrounding, what you do with yourself, how your things are. With the way your meal plans are, I say this to people, I go, even if you are on a good, clean, meal-based system, you also want to look at your portion sizes. People don't do that. So when I do my consultations, and I have clients on an international level, so in the morning, I'm up in the morning, I see pictures. All my clients around the world, I tell them, everything you eat, everything you drink, everything you do, take a picture of it and send to me. The cans, everything. And they think, oh, I'm just checking what they're eating. I'm checking what you're eating. I'm checking your portion sizes, checking your plate size. I'm checking the preservatives. Because if you understand that, so they go and buy a can of tomatoes. Those tomatoes are fine, but those tomatoes were preserved in something. Those preservatives should not be in the human body, because that's what destroys the human body. People don't know that. They go, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating clean, this. But we need to see what's in your plate. Yeah. Also, with the whole portion sizes, I give an example of the human stomach being a bag. You can go for a run, but can you run with a bag in your hand? So if you're eating a lot less, you're working a lot better. Your bag is a lot smaller. I do this all the time. Do you sell your plant-based meal plans, diets?
No, because I don't believe that each person should follow a meal plan. I don't personally follow a meal plan. I go by how my body feels day to day.
Nice.
Now, the reason for that is because if I wake up in the morning and I've trained hard the night before, I wake up my body may feel a bit more sore, a bit more tired than usual because I've just trained the night before. So I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I have a breakfast first thing in the morning. Some people I know, they don't like to eat breakfast in the morning, and that may just be due to the habits that they've built over the years of not having breakfast in the morning because they forget or they're rushing to go work. Yeah. So as I was saying, for myself, I may get up and I may think, okay, I've had a hard day training. I'm going to have a smoothie bowl with my protein in there, my hemp seeds, my grains, my nuts, whatever may be in there. Later on that day, I may not eat until about 4 p.m. and I may just drink water throughout the whole day. Because sometimes I feel we need to learn to just cleanse the body, not always eat. We don't always need to put things in. The stomach is a muscle. Our internal organs are muscles. So if you was bicep curling every day, every 2-3 hours, your arms are going to be sore. You won't be able to do the same thing the next day. You won't be able to pick things up. Yeah, you may get bigger, but then that damage to the tissue is also going to happen because you haven't given it time to rest. And that's what I feel is the same thing for the stomach and for your internal organs in the body.
So what would your suggestion be if, for people who don't know how to make their stomach rest? Example, I do discussions about intermittent fasting, or TRE, which is time restricted eating, giving your stomach time to rest. So from 12 to 14 to 16 to 18, 20 hours. People do that. But many people don't do that because they find it tedious without even trying. So it's back to mental fitness. Many times people tend to give up the race without even starting the race. So when it comes to people you're trying to give that help for, how would you approach it to them?
I think the first thing is not showing them it's something that can be potentially quite heavy and overloading. If I come to you and say, let's imagine you've never trained before, ever in your life.
I can't imagine it. 31 years training. I can't imagine it, sorry.
Let's say you're in your 40s and you've probably trained when you was back in school or whatever. Now, for me to turn around and be like, okay, you need to be plant-based, you need to be drinking water, you need to be doing all this, it's too much, it's an overload. So the first thing is, okay, let's look at how you feel day to day, what things you need in your body. And that is, what is their mood levels during the day? What's their mood like? Because if their mood's down, they're quite depressed, they're quite angry, they're snappy, they're sharpish, then it's like, okay, maybe we need to look at your sleep, maybe we need to look at reducing sugars in the body, maybe we need to look at certain things like that. Once I've just analysed them as a person, then it's okay, I want you to go away and write me a food diary, just a general food diary of everything you eat for a whole week. I don't want you to miss anything on there, I want you to put everything on there. Once I can see it, and again, like you said, people will send you pictures, you're not necessarily looking at just the meal, you're looking at the portion size, everything else. I'm looking at their daily habits, how they see food. What time did they eat that cake? Was that cake at 10 p.m. or was it at 12 p.m.? If you're eating at 10 p.m, to me, I may then associate that with some type of either emotional eating or there's a breakdown in the body, because why are you looking for sugar at 10 p.m?
What's your relationship with food?
That's it. That's exactly it. Exactly it. Okay. So that's my approach to it. I wouldn't necessarily just give everyone a meal plan straight off the bat, because I feel I need to really analyze that person first. Once I've got, and it doesn't have to take that long, 2-3 weeks, to really get an understanding of how that person eats and what their daily habits are. Once I've got that, then we can make those changes. Food diary is the first thing. And then implementing new foods, implementing more water, the basics. That's where I'd start from.
What convinced you, what brought you into the plant-based diet? What motivated you to start doing this?
Okay, I've always had like an interest in food and diet and nutrition anyway. Training for years in Muay Thai. Forget just Muay Thai, training in general. I was skateboarding when I was young. I used to play a lot of football. I used to play basketball quite a lot. So always training, you start to learn and be around certain people, athletes and coaches, and you're like, oh, okay, that's how you're meant to eat. Oh, me eating this bag of crisp that's meant to be shared for 4 people is not good because I'm eating it on my own. Too much salt, too much sugars, all of these things you start to learn. So I started off going plant-based when I actually had an injury. In Muay Thai, I was sparring and I injured my knee. When I injured my knee, this caused me to then do my own research.
I remember that.
Yeah, into more of a holistic approach of healing the body. But as I said, I already had quite an influence in healthy eating over the years from my old coaches, from people I knew, and actually started off going pescatarian for a month, which was just fish. So I went pescatarian for a month, and I was like, oh, this was before the knee injury. Go on, let's go. Go on.
Right. Just imagine I'm Joe Public and I have no idea what pescatarian means, right? Can you please elaborate to the public what that means?
Well, pescatarian is somebody who chooses to go on a diet based on fish. They only eat fish meat. They don't eat chicken, they don't eat beef, they don't eat anything like that. Dairy would still be the same because it's your milk and your cheese and stuff like that.
Right.
But generally, your main source of not just protein, but your fats and everything comes from fish. So when I had gone to a pescatarian diet, it was meat and fish, having my veg, having my rice or my grain or whatever the grain may be. And that was a daily thing for about a month and a bit. After that, after I'd sustained the injury, I was like, okay, how can we actually look to heal the body? Because injuries happen all the time for fighters, and I've always had loads of injuries. But there must be a way, because I see men or women that are in their 80s, 90s, and they're still training, and they look strong and fit. And it's like, how is that possible? So when I started to do my own research, it was always that holistic approach that came up first. Looking into the foods that we eat, looking into what water we actually drink, looking into sugars. Because, I've always had a sweet tooth, so always having a lot of sugar. And it wasn't until later on I started to understand that too much sugar actually causes a lot of inflammation in joints. And that wasn't necessarily good for someone who's just torn their meniscus. Yeah. So this is where I started with the whole plant-based diet. This is what caused me to go down that road. I tried 4 days raw vegan, which is, again, nothing's cooked over a certain temperature, which I think is 110 degrees or something like that. Tried that for 4 days. It was actually going to be 2 weeks, only lasted 4 days. That kick-started me into going plant-based.
Right. Yeah.
So then that's when it all started. And then from then, I've just kind of never looked back.
What's the benefit, would you say, for a plant-based diet? I'm asking you because I know, you know, but they need to know. Yes. So can you please let the world know the benefits of the plant-based diet for the body? So
once again, I think each diet or lifestyle choice, that's what I'm going to use, lifestyle choice, because diet I just don't like. That's so each lifestyle choice that a person picks may be different for them. But generally speaking, for me and the people that I know that have gone plant-based, let me speak for me actually rather than anyone else, but it firstly made me feel a lot lighter. And I don't mean just in my weight, I mean just spiritually, just my mind itself. I felt more clarity. Now that also could be the fact that you've changed your food type. So it's just a simple thing where you're not eating heavy meats or the mix of starch and blood mixed together going through and infusing in the body, which creates certain chemical reactions. But we're not going to go on.
Sorry, so what you're basically saying is when you go on a plant-based diet, your body becomes more alkaline and you decalcify your pineal gland. So, and your stomach feels a bit more clean because, as you know, a lot of meat in the body stays in the stomach, not broken down. It just stays there, so you feel heavy without even knowing you're feeling heavy. So whatever goes in your stomach does not exactly go through 100% breakdown and absorption process. Okay.
But the thing is, going straight to a plant-based diet after eating meat for 20 plus years of my life, I'm not, you can say it could be a placebo effect because you're not going to make that initial change and feel lighter straight away. However, for me, I felt a big difference. And when I felt that, I use that as something to help me to push to the next level of plant-based and whole food lifestyle.
For those who don't know the placebo effect, there's a placebo effect and a nocebo effect. So the placebo effect is more of I'm going to give you these sugar pills, But if I tell you they're painkillers, you're going to believe they're painkillers. If I tell you and the TV tells you and 4 other people tell you, oh, these are good painkillers, you take those sugar pills and you will think they're painkillers, and that's the placebo effect. It will cure your headache. The nocebo effect is the opposite. Is if I tell you that this thing can kill you and 4 other people tell you that this thing can kill you, you're going to believe that this thing can kill you. That's the nocebo effect. Thank you. Awesome. Got something for you. Where do you think this plant-based meal plan or this plant-based lifestyle started? Where did it originate from?
I think it's a, how can I put it? I don't think it comes from necessarily one place, but I feel like today's day and age we live in, the Western world tends to pick what they want from other cultures and make it their own. Colonization, right? So you take Rastafarians, for example. They've been vegan for centuries, centuries as I know. Rastafarian has an idle lifestyle. They don't touch any animal products. They don't touch dairy. They don't touch anything like that. Traditionally, they're meant to have just plant-based whole food diet. Green banana, yam, plantain, pumpkin, seeds, grains, all of that. It then gets taken and then a term gets flipped onto it, veganism. So then everyone's, I'm going vegan, and it becomes a hype, it becomes a fad, which is another reason why I don't like using the term veganism. Take something else like minimalist or minimalism, which would come from Japan originally. Originates from somewhere, right? So it originates from Japan, and now we use the term minimalism as this cool style fashion thing that people do nowadays, when really in Japan that's normal for you to be sleeping on the floor with just your blanket, floor laying, maybe having your shutters, and that's about it. In your room you probably have 5 t-shirts, 2 trousers, a coat, and that's about it. You don't go past that. But now the Western world takes that culture and lifestyle and turns it into something called minimalism, which makes it cool to the Western world. So going back to your question, I think it originates from many different places. But I think especially eastern side of the world, Africa, I think it comes from, when I look at it, where I'm from, Jamaica again, like I said, Rastafarians, that's what I associate with being vegan, being plant-based.
Yeah. That's true, because through African history, I'm talking about, say, before there was the Ghana, the Ivory Coast, and the Cameroon, and the Nigeria, and this basically before the massive exodus from Kemet, which is now today's Egypt. Most of the Kemites who actually migrated from Kemet, Egypt, down to the west of Africa and south of Africa have always had that plant-based diet and or lifestyle. And most of the times that animals were killed, they were actually killed to protect their community. So it wasn't, okay, we're going to go kill and hunt for food. It was more of, okay, we need to protect this area. So a lot of killing was made, because if these animals had come far in, women would be killed, children would be killed. Most of the plant-based diet comes from that culture, that Kemite culture, which is a great thing. But how does that make you feel though? How do you feel as an athlete, as a professional athlete, and you are on this lifestyle? Does that mean, because 40 plus years ago, this was the hype of muscle. When you had the video called Pumping Iron, there was the bodybuilding sect, all that. This was the time when muscle became a big thing. And most of these professional bodybuilders swore on meat. Meat. They went, oh, I ate a lot of beef, that's why I've got this much muscles and I'm beefy. And that actually poured down into movies, poured down into animation, poured down into comic books. The way you have your heroes being drawn in comic books is based on that kind of physique, that bodybuilder physique, where they were singing and selling meat and all these product supplements. But doing our research, we realized that most of what they were selling were actually through, most of their physique was through supplements. Most of their performance enhancements was through supplements. But you, on a clean plant-based lifestyle, how does that make you perform as an athlete? You understand? Does that make your game stronger, weaker, faster, slower? How's that for you?
Based on just being on a plant-based diet?
Yes.
I think it is 10 times better. You know, I've eaten meat for, like I said, 26 years, 25 years of my life. And I trained pretty much all my life. So when I was doing Muay Thai and I was fighting regularly, I was eating meat all the time. I could never shift my weight down. I should have been a lot lower. I should have been in the 70 kilos, but I was fighting more 77, 78. Couldn't drop the weight.
Oh, it was so hard to cut weight as well.
Oh, so difficult, man. But now, my last fight I had, I was touching 70 kilos, or 70.5 kilos. And for me, I find it easier to lose weight. I don't have to think about losing weight. I'm still getting all of my nutrients. I'm still getting my magnesium, my calcium, my vitamins. I'm actually getting more because of the foods that I'm eating, whereas before, my bulk of my food comes from the meat. So traditionally, back home, what we tend to do is we have our meat, we have our rice, and then we have a little portion of veg.
A hint of veg.
And you're like, yeah. And sometimes it's all wilted down and it's soggy and it's soft, and you're like, I can't eat this. You just eat the meat and the rice. That's what you tend to do. But people forget a lot of the nutrients and the valuable nutrients we need come from the veg.
Yes.
You know? And I think now being on a plant-based diet, your body's just alert. Your body, like I said, I've dropped weight a lot easier. I don't hold on to fat. My muscle is a lot stronger. I'm ripped, you know? And I was still like that before, but I had that extra fat, that extra bit of weight that I didn't need. Yeah. So for me as an athlete, I think it's one of the best things someone could do. But you really do have to test foods out. You have to try things out.
That's awesome. See, I come from an old era of fighters, right? And so do you. What made you, I'll say first, go into fighting? What made me go into fighting back in the day was more of I was looking for someone who could beat me, if that makes sense. I was looking for competition. I've been training for so long, and my mindset, because back then, there was no MMA. There was no YouTube fights. There were no videos out there that you could just catch on your phone. And there were not many martial arts schools a long time ago. So I'd go to this school. Actually, as a child, I'd go into a few fights in the street, and it was not the same. So I'd go to a martial arts school where they're teaching me forms and movements and techniques, but on the street, these techniques were not useful. I'm on the road, right? I'm on the road, and this man checks me. I can't go, hey bro, you mad cuz?
Yeah, then start throwing your...
It does not work.
Yeah.
You know, so I went from one martial arts to another martial arts and started learning different forms and styles. And I realized something from different martial arts styles was basically you and I can do the same art for 20 plus years. We will always fight differently because our minds are different. Always fight differently. And the reason for me looking to fight professionally was I just wanted to find people that were strong. I wanted to fight people that were strong. I wanted to see how strong I was, because you don't know your true strength until you actually test it. So it was not for the money. It was the pride. It was the honor. It was the badassery. That was it. it's not the same today. A lot of people out there today, they're just going out there, they was like, oh, how much? Oh yeah, no, my manager says this, that, pay me more money, blah, blah, blah. And I go, oh, God. It's not the same. What made you get into fighting in the first place?
Well, I think with me, the thing is, I'm a very happy-go-lucky person. I'm like, whatever goes, isn't it? I'm like, God, want to train? Yeah, let's do some training, get beaten up. Oh, you know what? I love this. That's literally how it happened. One of my uncles came to me and he had said to me, oh, you look fit, you look like you're doing a lot of sports, you do your basketball, these times I was still playing basketball quite a lot. And I was at college and I was like, yeah, I'd love to come and do some training. He was like, yeah, do you want to come down? Come down to Brixton, we'll do some Muay Thai. I was like, Muay who?
Muay who? Is that the drink?
Yeah, Muay Thai.
Muay Thai, that drink, yeah, Muay Thai.
So I was like, okay, you know what, let's go down and let's do some training. Never say no to training. So went, and I think the first session, I remember pairing up with two people. Everyone there was heavyweights.
Right, yes.
Yeah. There was a guy who did karate who was like 6'5" and he was just wham, jacked up. And I remember I was just like, wow, this is amazing. It was him, there was Dillian White who was there was Chigs Terry. Yeah, these were my old school teammates. And I remember going there and I was like, what? These guys train and they're whacking me up, beating me. I'm like, oh my gosh. The next day I called my uncle up and I said, look, loved it, got beaten up, got whacked up, but I need to learn what those guys were doing to me because that was just unbelievable. I've never been a person who's had a fight in the street. I've never got into any altercations. It's just I'm never around that. So it was never a thing I needed to try and prove myself or get stronger to fight my bullies or nothing like that. It was just something within myself. I'm very, very competitive. And if I do some sort of activity or sport and feel like it's beaten me, I'm like, no, we're going to master that. We're going to learn that. And we're going to overcome that. And we've got to learn how to fight. I've got to get in the ring. So before I knew it, I was literally in the ring at about 80 kilos. That's when I first started doing interclubs. And I was just learning, just soaking up the knowledge of all these new guys that were coming down at the time. Everyone was a lot older. They were much bigger. So for me, I was like, this is good. I'm able to hold my own against guys that are pros and they're 6 foot plus and they're 100 kilos. It makes you feel good. So yeah, that's pretty much how I started.
When I first started MMA, I felt like Dick Grayson Robin in the Justice League. It's like this little kid, boy wonder, and everyone's like freaking. I'm gonna fight you. But I loved it. Exactly. Everyone was older. Everyone was bigger. Now this is what it was, right? Because I come from a Kyokushinkai background as well, and in Kyokushinkai karate, it's bare knuckle. It's not point sparring. It's knockout tournaments, and most of the time back in the day, there was no weight category.
Sorry, is that the only form of karate that does that? Because
No. There are new forms now that do that now.
Before
that, no. You had Goju Ryu, you had Shotokan, other styles, but they're based on points based. Kyokushin was made by Mas Oyama. It's a whole different podcast, a whole different story. His story, Mas Oyama is a legend, right? And his thing was just bare knuckle, throwing out, let's go champ, all out in there. And when I first I found a gym, it's about 17, 18. And the first week, before then I'd done 10 years of martial arts. I'd done taekwondo, I'd done boxing, I'd done judo, I'd done other things as well from 8 years old. So at 18, I went to this martial arts school and I'm like, yeah, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah, you can't test me. Yeah, I'm bragging and stuff. So I'm kicking everyone head kicks like, bah, head kicks, sharp. The sensei is just looking at me like, Normally doesn't spar with the beginners, and you could tell from day one that I wasn't exactly a white belt.
Yeah.
So end of the second week, we start sparring. He does not spar beginners, but he saw me like, yeah, this kid's got potential or something. Yeah. So we're sparring, and I'm quite a masochist. Yeah, so I like the pain, and he hits me hard, and I smile. And like, do it again. I'm like, yeah. So we're sparring, we're going hard. Low kicks, I counter. Beats, I counter. Hit to hit to hit. And that's when I started learning black belt shit. The art of faking. The art of parrying. So he moved right and he kicked left.
Yeah.
He faked me and I went for it. Did a spinning heel kick.
Yeah.
He caught me so fast and my blood spilled, it was still blue. I'll put it that way. When it hit me, spinning heel kick, here. I went 360. I spun around 360. I had a halo. Blood. My blood didn't know gravity yet. It's like, are you that, fam? Oh, that's me. Boom.
No.
Dude, it was very, very, what's the word? Kill Bill-esque. Like, oh!
Nah, this is the sensei. Yeah, I love
went
that.
to St. Thomas Hospital.
Love that.
I got stitched in. The beauty of the kick was the way they stitched me. I had 7 stitches outside, 14 inside.
Okay.
Say it was like a Rasengan. It went boom. Like it just started from there, just opened up. From there, it went to my tooth.
What?
I loved it, bro. I loved it.
Oh.
So I got stitched up.
Yeah.
I got stitched up on Friday night. Went back in on the next week. I got like one massive lop, not a lip, I had a lop. It wasn't a lip anymore. It used to be a lip, now it's a lop.
Yeah.
It's right there, hanging. Like, it had its own crutches. I went there, and he thought I was coming to go, oh, I'm gonna sue you. I'm like, take me, I belong here. That was it. That was it. So I found where I could go to, and in that place, I kept training with national and international champions for a long time. There, I started fighting for England. That's from there to MMA. Now, before it was MMA, it was called hybrid fighting, because at that time they did not know what name to give mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
In the UK, it was called cage fighting. We were the pioneers of MMA. From there, somebody, one of the security guards in that area saw me, and he said, "You're a good fighter, but why haven't you got a cornerman?" Imagine, MMA, no cornerman. This is the beginning of the beginning. It's like, you can do this. I'm gonna take you somewhere in Brixton. You meet somebody and you start doing this. The person that saw me was Eamon.
Oh yeah. I remember Eamon. What?
There you go. Eamon took me to Julian.
Okay.
That's where I met the Red Dragons. That's where I met him. This is where we all started from. This is all the whole story about what it was. And back then, I did not fight for the money. I just fought because it was Friday or Saturday. Just love the fight. I'd love to get hit. It's beautiful. It's like you train all your life for something, and you're looking for people who are just like you, who you can actually spar and fight with and go all out without killing them, knowing that they can take it and they can dish it out to you even worse, even more than you can. It's unexplainable. If you've not walked in the ring, you may never understand that feeling. No matter how anyone says, oh, you might die, you might this, but my soul yearns for that. I have a calling for that. I need to do that. And after doing that, I start to teach it. Understanding the depths of everything, I want to teach everyone this. I love teaching people this. Is this similar for you?
Yeah, I would say it's very similar, because for me, that same feeling of being hit and loving to be hit, you're like, you can't explain it. I can't explain it to people that don't do it. It's like, it's just something.
Come on, do it. Come on. 2 more. Come on.
When I went through my training journey and my fighting journey, my fight career, if you like, I would always find myself stopping and starting.
Right.
Due to many different things, uni, having my son,
Life.
and all life, there you go. So I think it got to a stage when I was like, okay, I've got two decisions. I can go this way and just continue fighting forever, or try to make something just from fighting, or I can go this way and try to build something from what I've learnt over the years and still return back to the fighting at some point.
Right.
That's where my head was at. So I started off by teaching. These times I wasn't fighting because of whatever the reason was at the time, I don't even remember, but I had stopped fighting for a while, I think it was about a year or 2 years, and I decided to start running my own club. Now, when I started running my own club, it was kids, strictly. I don't know why. There we go, the reason why. Okay, so my son was born in 2014,
yes.
and it was the year 2013. Obviously knew I was having my son, so then was like, okay, I'm thinking, what path am I going to go down? When my son's born, I want to be able to still spend my time with him without knowing that I'm at a job where I have to stay there from this time to that time. That is how it originally started.
10 to 6.
Because I could have actually taught adults thinking about it, but having my son led me to go and teach children, which then led me to be running my club now, still teaching children and specialising and focusing on kids a lot more, not just in martial arts, but their whole mind, their spirit, their soul, their energy, what they want to do with their life, how they look at people, how they treat each other. That's where Muay Thai took me.
So you inspire children and they grow. This is what I say, it's my motto actually, is learn, teach, inspire, grow. Because you learn a tactic, you learn a technique, you learn something, and you teach to those who don't know. And what's interesting is in learning, you will teach. In teaching, you actually learn more. So you learn more of the basics of what you were doing by actually teaching it. When you now teach it to the young generation, next generation, you now inspire them. When you inspire them mentally, not just physically, they grow. When they grow, we grow. You see what it is? This is why I go learn, teach, inspire, grow. It's a beautiful cycle. People don't get it. It's like teach. When you teach, it starts to put things back into perspective.
Absolutely.
Dude.
I agree, 100%. I like that motto. I need one of these t-shirts, by the way.
Oh, you gonna get some, don't brother? I got you. Right. So, is that what makes you wake up in the morning to do this? So, I love teaching. If I could teach for free, I'll teach for free. If money was never the case or the issue, I would teach for free. I could just call someone and say, hey, are you free on Tuesday, 7 p.m.? What are you doing? I want to teach you, man. It's like that crack addict. Come on, man. You got some crack? Yeah, that one. Yeah, I said, oh man, come on, man. I gotta teach you, man. Come on, man. I love teaching. It's not for the money of it. It's just when you make a difference in someone's life, even if it's that much, that's it. That's your legacy. That's your energy you've put into someone to make them better. So what is it for you? If money was not the case, the issue in this world today, what would you wake up at 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. to go and do outside?
Firstly, I'd probably stay in bed till at least 7. Secondly, if I had to get up really early to do something, then definitely teaching and training are the two things I love. Specifically Muay Thai, because I'm still a trainer. I can still train people, personal training. But if we're not doing Muay Thai, the level of interest just slowly declines. Because Muay Thai is everything to me. Martial arts is everything to me. So if I had to wake up at 2 a.m. to answer your question, or 4 a.m. to do anything, it would be to train. That would be the first thing.
Because Muay Thai is life.
Because it's life. Because for me, it helps me in so many ways. It's not just the physical. Like, I've got past the stage of caring how I look physically in terms of my muscle, my body, of this. It's how I perform mentally day to day, what my thought process is, how I then interact with another human being. Like, that is very important. If I don't train, my interaction with you is going to be very different. I'll be very moody, very stale, very...
Right. See, I like how you said about physique. I want to just jump in this one because, again, back to the pumping iron situation, a lot of people have grown up with the mindset that the more muscles you have, the stronger fighter you are, which is not the case. Many a professional bodybuilder have sworn that they're not taking any enhancers, right? So if you look at professional fighters who are natural, they don't have massive muscles. And I like to use these two examples. Example, two men, different sports, the same weight. Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Muhammad Ali, boom. If you watch Pumping Iron, there was a part where he said, oh, goes for a run, 5K run, this, that, 100 sit-ups, that. Mate, you don't do that, bruv. You don't do that, bruv. Muhammad Ali, every day running, road work, sit-ups, push-ups, this, the same weight, different physique. That's a fighter's physique. Fighters don't have that kind of, but in animation, in cartoons, in comic books, in movies, they draw, you see the physique of a bodybuilder that makes every other person who does not do fighting per se think that, oh, the bigger my chest is, the stronger a fighter I am. If I have an 8-pack, therefore I can fight, which is not the case. This is the problem I tend to see in the world today. People say, oh, I want to have a bit of green, but I want to use the blue method to get to the green. So how do you tend to deal with that?
Within myself personally?
With yourself and other people?
With myself, again, I've just kind of gotten over the whole, I need to be big to be strong, or I need to have a lot of muscle to be a good fighter. A lot of the time, it's a vanity thing. People want to look good. And there's times I battle with that in my head. I'm like, I need to be lifting. I need to be back to 80 kilos because I look good then. I was a hench. I can walk around and fill out my t-shirt. My girlfriend doesn't care about that. I don't care about that. The person I'm fighting against, they would prefer me to be 80 kilos or heavier with muscles. I'm a lot slower. So then they could just beat me, because that's how I used to think the same way. And it wasn't until my trainer said years ago, you don't need so much muscle, Kieran. You need to make sure you drop that weight. Look at the Thais. The Thai fighters do not have big, bulky muscles. Okay, yeah, they may have big legs, because they're doing their runs every day. They're doing their skipping, their everything that they're working on. But their physique, their general physique, they're quite slim, or they may even have a little bit of a belly. Look at Sanchai, he hasn't got abs, but he's one of the best fighters in the world. You know, so for me, it's I try to explain that to my clients as well. But I think, again, with other people who aren't fighters or who aren't people that love to train, it's getting into their mind and helping them understand that their first hurdle is maybe, let's say they want to lose 10 kilos because they're 120 kilos, they want to lose weight. That's their first thing, is their physique. That's the first thing on their mind. They're not bothered about if they're strong, if they're this or that. Later on down the line, once we've hit that first goal of losing that 10 kilos, okay, what's the next goal? Okay, you may want to lose some more, then lose a bit more weight. Now it's time to get strong. They want to get stronger. I need to build muscle. Why do you need to build muscle? I want to look good. Okay, that's good, because if you want to build muscle to look good, that's fine. If you want to build loads of muscle to be a lot stronger, that you're doing the wrong things, the wrong method that you're trying to use here. So it's trying to firstly just get them to understand what their goal is. If they don't have a goal, or if they haven't got a plan, then it's just pointless.
So I've got one more thing for you. How can the audience, how can people reach out to you? Where can we find you?
So it depends how you want to contact me. If you're contacting me via personal training or the Muay Thai, then that's going to be on my Instagram. If your kids want to train, because remember I focus or specialize with children, again, that is through my martial arts website, titansmuaythai.co.uk.
Is that THAI?
THAI tanz.co.uk, titans.co.uk, and then you also have my Instagram, which is Kieran.Peart, Kieran. We should link it up somewhere. Oh, is it there? Oh, we're gonna have it here. Hey, I like that. Right there. So we've got Kieran.Peart. That's my personal Instagram. You can catch me on there for whether it be plant-based nutrition or personal training. But again, if you want to focus on the Muay Thai or your kids want to do Muay Thai, Titans Muay Thai, Instagram, or titans.co.uk, which it should all be around here somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Okay. Thank you very much, Kieran. Really appreciate this.
Thank you for having me, man. Honestly, this was brilliant.
All I can say is it has been emotional.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you very much.